Have you ever wondered why some people can make us do things without even saying much? Why do we sometimes end up buying stuff we don't even need? Or why, in certain relationships, we feel like we're always at fault, even when the mistake isn't ours? This is the hidden game of dark psychology and manipulation. The human brain is a fascinating machine. It can think, process, and understand. But the most dangerous part? It can be bent. Some people press the buttons in your mind by scaring you, by showing love, or by making you feel guilty. And once those buttons are pressed, you start doing things you never intended to. Dark psychology is all about understanding human weaknesses and playing with someone's thoughts and emotions. Manipulation is the art of controlling people, making them believe they're making their own choices when in reality, someone else is pulling the strings. Think about this. You're scrolling on social media and suddenly a video pops up that makes you stop. Have you noticed why that video shows up for you? Because someone already knows your taste, your behavior, and is using that understanding against you. That's subtle manipulation. But the story doesn't end there. Manipulation isn't always harmless. Sometimes it goes so deep that a person loses the ability to think clearly. They believe they're making their own choices, but in reality, those choices are being controlled. There's a saying, the most dangerous prison is the one inside your own mind. That's exactly what dark psychology is. Now, you might think this only happens in movies or TV shows, but the truth is, it happens all around us, every single day. At work, your boss might say, if you handle this project, I'll give you something bigger later. In relationships, your partner might say, if you really love me, you'll do this. And in sales, someone might push you, this offer is only valid for today.
Sounds normal, right? Yes, it does. But these normal lines are exactly how manipulation works. And that's the biggest revelation of this book. Manipulation isn't always about force. Sometimes it hides behind a smile and sweet words. Now let's go a little deeper. Have you ever seen someone twist your own words against you? They ask you questions, then use your answers to confuse you. That's called gaslighting. It makes you doubt your own reality. Imagine your partner saying, you're always overreacting. This is all in your head. Slowly, you start believing maybe you are the problem, and that's where manipulation takes control. Dark psychology doesn't only use words. Silence can also be a powerful weapon. Think about the times when someone suddenly stops talking to you. You start to feel anxious, guilty, like you did something wrong. That anxiety puts you under their control. This is called silent treatment. And here's the twist. These techniques aren't only used by big manipulators. Sometimes we all use them unknowingly. For example, have you ever told a child, if you eat your food, I'll give you chocolate? That's manipulation too. The only difference is it's harmless and used with love. But here comes the important question. What's the difference between persuasion and manipulation? Persuasion is convincing someone with their best interest in mind. Manipulation is tricking someone into doing what you want, even if it's against their interest. Here's a small example. Your friend says, let's hit the gym. It'll be great for your health. That's persuasion. But if he says, if you don't go to the gym, people will think you're lazy. You'll never be successful. That's manipulation. See how just a few words can flip someone's thinking? We've all felt this. Someone showers us with extreme love, gifts, and attention at the beginning, making us feel they're truly genuine. And then suddenly, they change. They start ignoring us. This is a technique called love bombing. First, they hook you with affection, and once you're addicted, the control begins. That control blinds people. Think of how many individuals stay trapped in abusive relationships simply because their partner manipulates them. Now, let's move to the social level. You walk into a mall and see boards that say, "Only 2 pieces left," or "Offer ends tonight." This is the scarcity effect. It makes you feel like if you don't act now, you'll lose out. And in that fear, you end up buying something you didn't even need. Manipulation isn't just personal. It's everywhere. In politics, advertising, even the news. They trigger your emotions, fear, anger, hope, just to control your actions. Here's a quick real-life story. A man once walked into a car showroom. He told the salesman he needed some time to think. The salesman smiled and said, "Of course, sir. Take your time. Just so you know, this is the last car left. By tomorrow morning, it'll be gone. The next shipment won't arrive for 6 months." The man booked the car immediately. Later, he found out there were plenty of cars in stock. That's the magic of scarcity.
So far, we've seen how manipulation can be done through subtle words, silence, fear, or even love. But now comes a bigger question. What kind of people are the most manipulative? If you pay close attention, manipulators usually fall into 4 major categories. First, the narcissists. These are people who believe the world revolves around them. They crave constant attention, admiration, and control. At first, they seem extremely charming. They'll compliment you, make you feel special, but slowly they identify your weaknesses, and that's where the manipulation begins. Narcissists always want you to live by their rules. Second, the sociopaths. These ones are far more dangerous. They simply don't care about other people's feelings. For them, lying, breaking rules, and using people for personal gain is normal. Sociopaths feel no guilt. If you've ever met someone who feels cold, ruthless, and only sees their own benefit, chances are you were looking at one. Third, the everyday manipulators. These could be the people around you, friends, family, a boss, or even a partner. They know how to use guilt, love, or sympathy to control you. For example, a friend might say, "If you can't do this for me, what's the point of our friendship?" Or a relative might constantly make you feel guilty for not helping them enough. Fourth, the hidden manipulators. These are the trickiest ones. They wear an innocent face, but behind the mask, their mind is playing the game. They don't directly control you. Instead, they create situations where you automatically end up doing what they want. Now the question is, how do we recognize these people? Look out for the signs. If someone constantly makes you feel guilty, if they make you doubt your own decisions, if they show you extreme love one moment and then suddenly withdraw it, or if they never respect your boundaries, that's manipulation. But recognizing it isn't enough. The real power lies in protecting yourself. So, how do we protect ourselves from manipulators? The first weapon is awareness. Until you know you're being manipulated, you can't fight it. Awareness means observing everything consciously. If someone keeps making you feel guilty, ask yourself, is this really my fault or is this manipulation? The second weapon is boundaries. You must learn to say no. Manipulators exploit your weakness when you're too eager to please others. If something feels wrong or goes against you, don't hesitate to refuse. Remember, no is a complete sentence. The third weapon is critical thinking. Manipulators often push you to make quick decisions, like, "This offer is only valid today," or "If you don't say yes now, you'll lose your chance." In those moments, pausing is crucial. Critical thinking means questioning everything. Ask yourself, is this true? Is this really in my best interest? The fourth weapon is emotional control. Manipulation works best when your emotions, fear, guilt, love, or anger, take over. But if you control your emotions, no one can easily control you. The trick? Learn to pause. When someone provokes you, don't react instantly. Take a breath, then respond calmly.
The fifth weapon is the mirroring technique. Sometimes if someone is manipulating you aggressively, reflecting their behavior back can stop them. For example, if someone is using silence to control you, stay silent too. That way, they realize their trick isn't working. The sixth weapon is spotting red flags. If someone constantly tries to break your confidence, steal your independence, or make you feel guilty over and over, that's a red flag. And the best solution is to distance yourself from such people. But here's something important. Protecting yourself from manipulation doesn't mean doubting everyone around you. There are genuine people in the world, too. The difference is, genuine people guide you while keeping your best interests in mind, while manipulators only look out for themselves. Now imagine this. Once you understand these signs, what happens? You stop being the victim. You begin to recognize every trick and handle it calmly. No one can scare you into submission. No one can guilt-trip you into losing your freedom. And no one can sweet-talk you into losing control of your own mind. And that's the ultimate secret of this journey. Awareness is power. But let me give you another perspective. Dark psychology isn't always evil. Yes, sometimes it can actually be used for good, if applied ethically. For example, if you're a teacher and you know a student won't be motivated by just positive words, you might use a bit of scarcity. If you don't work hard today, you'll miss tomorrow's opportunity. Or if you're a parent, you might occasionally use guilt to guide your child toward the right path. What you did really hurt us. The truth is, dark psychology is just a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. A knife can cut fruit, or it can cause harm. The difference lies in how it's used. So when you learn these lessons, don't just focus on spotting manipulators. See it as an awareness tool, something that helps you make better decisions in life. And here's the final message. If you want to own your life, you must first learn to own your mind. Because only those who can't control their emotions and thoughts end up being manipulated. But the person who is aware, mindful, and knows their boundaries, no one can manipulate them. So next time someone tries to guilt you, scare you, or trap you with sweet words, pause, smile, and ask yourself, is this really my choice, or is this someone else's game? Remember this, manipulation only works when you're asleep. Wake up, stay aware, and keep the keys to your mind in your own hands.